In the midst of a match gift challenge right now, so call us 1-888-288-0003. Your gift, whatever it may be, gets doubled in this segment or this program today. We really do need your help. 1-888-288-0003. You can go to 100huntley.com, make an online, secure online donation. Joe Amaral, I always love time with you, Joe, in these times because you're such an expert on these areas of Israel and the history of Judaism. Let's talk about Target Israel. This book, this is big. People are calling. A lot of interest in this. You talked with Joel Rosenburg, the author, recently. Tell us about that, then. I think you have a clip.
Yeah,
just 2 weeks ago.
Sure, yeah. Just 2 weeks ago, I had the privilege of sitting down with Joel Rosenburg, who is a Bible prophecy expert, and he introduced me to a new term that now I want to introduce to you. He talked about apocalyptic Muslims. I think you're going to learn something as you watch this clip.
If things continue to spin out of control in the Middle East, the radical Muslims and what I call the apocalyptic Muslims, which maybe we need to describe.
I want to ask you about that.
They're not going to be contained to Syria. They're not going to be contained to Iran. They're not going to be contained to Iraq. They are coming here. They said they would.
Yeah.
They have in the past. And if we get our eye off this ball, which we currently are, Iran will have nuclear weapons in the next number of years. ISIS is already involved in genocide. And what do we? You cannot surrender. And even though none of us want to engage in military operations against enemies, you have two choices. You can do three. You can surrender, or you can fight. And then the question is, are you going to fight the enemy there, far from our shores, or are you going to wait till they come here?
Rosenberg, celebrated expert in this field, a great writer of fiction, but it's based on things that are biblically based, tells amazing stories. This isn't fiction, though, what he's talking about. Apocalyptic Muslims.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's not fiction. You know, here I am sitting with him in this hotel room, and we're having this interview, and he's talking to me, and he says, you know what, Joe, it's not regular terrorism that you have to be afraid of. I said, what do you mean? He said, it's this apocalyptic view of terrorism where some extreme Muslims believe that it's their responsibility, it's their job, they have to do as much terror as possible and put the world in total chaos in order to bring in their Messiah, their Savior. And it's something that we as Christians need to understand, and they cover it in the book here.
Yeah, I was looking at page 29 in Target Israel here. Heinsohn and LaHaye write about the beliefs of Israel's enemies, and this is so much of it, the apocalyptic aspect, and so much of what we're seeing with this Iran deal and the U.S. negotiating with this Iran treaty. It's the great concern over what the Iranian leaders have said is their goal for Israel, and it ain't good.
Yeah, you know, I'm always amazed at God's timing. You know, Huntley Street has hundreds of books that are brought forth to us to consider to make available to our partners. And I know that as a team, you guys pray real hard about what to offer. And you prayed and got to this book, Target Israel. And you didn't know that 2 weeks ago, this third intifada was beginning to rise in Jerusalem specifically. And Israel is under attack by its own residents, its own citizens.
On your phone here, this is breaking news. Vehicular terror attack in West Bank, 2 wounded. So not only is stabbing a strategy now, but apparently running Israeli citizens over in cars.
Yeah, what happened here was a gentleman was
pedestrians.
He was waiting at a bus stop, and a local Israeli Arab got in his car and ran over the gentleman. And I can't even tell you what he did next. It was so deplorable. And we as Christians, you know, we're trying to understand, why is Israel always under attack? Why does it always seem to be the epicenter of activity in the Middle East? And this is why Huntley Street is offering this book, Target Israel, to you.
Ed Heinsohn said to me in one of our interviews, and he'll be here in studio next week, he said to me, we didn't write the book to scare Christians. We wrote the book to prepare Christians. This book prepares you to see the big, if you don't see the big picture and look at it from the standpoint of Ezekiel, Daniel, Revelation, and other minor and major prophets, this would be even more concerning. So what are we supposed to get out of this as Christ followers? How are we to prepare? What does it mean on a prophetic timeline? All of it's here. It's called Target Israel by two of the best. I really don't think it gets any better than these guys. They write brilliantly. They're smart.
great read.
And they write for folks like you and me who can grab this and understand it and figure out how it can apply to us and draw us closer to the Lord, to not fear, but to prepare for what's happening out there.
Yeah, please don't just order the book and put it on your shelf. We appreciate that you order the book, but read the book.
We want you to call 1-888-288-0003. Get your copy. Also make a gift that will be doubled because we are in a match gift challenge of $15,000.